Back to the border. And what has happened here is Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sort of tried to turn himself into a one-man border czar. He is sending illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. He says that if they're going to be dropped off in his state by the Biden administration, he's going to send them to Washington. He has also ordered Texas state troopers to inspect every single truck that has come across the border in a way that really we've never seen before. It's causing 18 or 20-hour backups at the Texas state border, the Texas border with Mexico. More importantly, it's caused a rift within the Republican Party because on each of these trucks is goods coming from Mexico into the United States. His own Secretary of Agriculture said that you're not doing anything about the border, Mr. Governor. All you're doing is increasing prices at the supermarket.
All right, so let's bring in Robert Sherman now. He is at the border. He's been following this. Robert, you spoke with some truckers earlier today, and their message was basically to the politicians, come down here, see what we're dealing with. What did the one trucker that you talked to say to you about painting a bigger picture of what's happening right now?
Well, I think that whenever we talk about a lot of these political rifts, it's easy to fall into the Texas governor versus Washington argument, the two sides bickering back and forth. What oftentimes gets lost in that whole conversation is the everyday people. And the people who are bearing the brunt of this back and forth are the truckers, are the everyday citizens. So the truckers that we've been speaking with say, we didn't realize this, when those trucks are stopped here and they're not moving, they're not getting paid until they're going off onto their destination. The one trucker who we were speaking with says that he was waiting for his trailer to come through that port of entry that's behind us and over here into the United States. He's still waiting. We saw him over there the whole day. That's an American citizen who is not getting paid, is not able to go home and see his family, just caught in limbo here. So that is the rift that you're starting to see. But here at the Reynosa Pharr crossing, there has been some progress today. This facility has been effectively shut down for the last couple of days because of those protests over on the Mexican side. Now we finally started to see trucks roll through here today, but still, it's long waits all along the U.S.-Mexico border.
Robert, Leland mentioned this just a moment ago, but that first bus full of migrants arrived in Washington, D.C. today. Can we expect that to become a regular thing? Is it going to be bus after bus, less of a traffic jam than we're seeing right now with those trucks?
Well, it definitely seems as though that the optics are coming to the forefront of this whole back and forth that you're seeing here. And Governor Greg Abbott has made clear that he is not going to kowtow to the Biden administration. He believes that really this whole border crisis, while it involves several states, really views Texas as the epicenter, and he has made clear that he wants to hold the line on this issue. So that was a piece of it today. You saw that first bus arriving there. It stands to reason that this fight is not going to go anywhere.
Robert Sherman at the border for us tonight, a problem that's getting worse. Robert, thank you. And we can spend a moment here talking about the border and the crisis because the Wall Street Journal came out with an editorial, an op-ed today, and it really went after Governor Abbott and what we see happening, talking about the goods and the impact that it's having on the supply chain, the cost of food already high with inflation. It's going to get even more. And so they really came after him, saying this isn't a solution to the problem. It's making your point.
Well, more than making your point, it is, as the Wall Street Journal editorialized, Greg Abbott's $5 avocados. The Texas governor pulls a stunt that makes the border mess worse. This was their evening editorial from the editorial board. And the idea of the Wall Street Journal taking on a Republican governor is rare. Calling it a stunt is even more rare. And then saying basically you are trying to launch your presidential campaign on the backs of Americans who, you rightly point out, are paying more for absolutely everything at the supermarket. And now you're artificially driving up the prices of everything just to make a point and sort of become this national border czar. There's obviously a political calculus here for Greg Abbott. But when you've got your own fellow Republicans in your state, a state that undoubtedly Republicans hope that they're going to pick up House seats in come November, this is not the look you want. And there's an old rule in politics that when your opponent is about to have a disaster, which by all accounts is going to happen in May when Title 42 lifts and there's this flood of immigrants at the Texas-Mexico border, get out of the way. And Greg Abbott is just inserting himself right in between the problem and the Biden administration going, hi, look at me. We'll see.
Right. And what people care about is how much things cost right now. And I was curious, in the Wall Street Journal article, they walk through some of the details. About 80% of perishable fruits and vegetables unable to cross the border since Friday. About 400 billion in goods crossing the border via Mexico to Texas. So it is a big deal what we're seeing happening. Robert's going to be at the border as we continue to follow that story tomorrow and beyond. The other thing tonight, thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.